welcome back, and it's still GTA Spotlight. Akim Ogumlade is my name, and I have my guest, Mr. Haruna Ibrahim. He will be giving us a brief profile about himself. Let's get to meet our guest. Mr. Ibrahim, I want to say thank you so much. This is your second visit to KBAC Radio. We say thank you so much for being a part of the motivation from the North American angle. The last time you were in the studios, we discussed politics, and I want to say congratulations that your candidate won.
Thank you.
I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed listeners, our guest is a die-hard. He is a core Buharist, and I remember when the politics was so much heated, then we had him, we paired him up with a PDP person, and they spoke extensively, and behold, they are on the winning side. So I say congratulations once more.
Thank you.
Alright, so now we're talking about agile. Before then, Mr. Ibrahim, can we meet you? Tell us about yourself, your profile now, being a professional that was recommended to Radio KBAC to discuss agile. Can you tell us about yourself?
Thank you, KBAC Radio. Thank you for having me here. If I have to start with my career, I started my career almost a decade ago as a planning and design engineer. And after which, in an oil and gas company, after which I moved to a telecom company as a project manager. Down there in Nigeria, I was managing planning and design an enterprise network for Econet Wireless. After which I moved to MTN, which is the largest telco industry in Africa. So at MTN, I was a regional manager up to 2005. I migrated to Canada, and in Canada here I've been working as a project manager since 2004-05, and so almost about a decade ago I delved into Agile. So here in Canada, I'm working with various industry and University of Alberta with education, telecommunication, Rogers, Telos, and now in the banking industry. In the banking industry, I work for Royal Bank and TD Bank. And outside that, I'm also a community organizer. So I'm an organizer of one of the largest community of practice in the GTA called the Ambition Agile. And what I also do is also to teach. I teach people who want to become an agile project manager or agile coach. So that's what I do in a nutshell. And at the same time, I'm also a community organizer. I do a lot of community work, also board members, and also do a lot of mentorship and coaching.
All right, we've had and we've met our guest, Mr. Ibrahim Haruna. Now, the topic of discourse is something that to a layman, what is agile? Like the topic of the program itself might not fascinate somebody who has never heard about it. What are these people talking about? What does it mean? Oh, okay, like agile in the English word means to be smart, to be proactive. Okay, but what we're talking about here is beyond that, and I hear a lot about it. So can you tell us about agile and Scrum? And the language a layman like me can understand. I am an accountant, I'm an administrator. To me, theater is pretty strange. So can you just educate us more so that we can now know the value of what this means?
So when you're talking about agile, so agile is a change of behavior. It's a mindset change. And when you talk about agile, you're also talking about it's a kind of an umbrella of a methodology. So we have some way of managing projects where you can easily give back to the customer. You can do something in a very short iterative time, very short manner. You can actually realize value. And again, other thing outside Agile is about innovation. It's about how you can properly do something that does not require wasting of time, right? Because sometimes you do things and that doesn't have value. So anything that does not add value to you, then don't do it. So Agile is something that you always give value to whatever you want to do. So you've been Agile. So if you're kind of person that you do something that you don't like waste, and you do something that you're looking at the value you're going to get out of it, then you're an Agile person. So but when you talk about Scrum, so Scrum is just one of the way of doing that Agile. The Agile, like I say, it's an umbrella of so many frameworks, and that when you do it, it makes you an Agile. So Scrum is a way that you're doing something at a very, say, 1 week or 2 weeks, you're actually getting something tangible. And as you are doing it, you are doing a kind of a retrospective. You are actually looking back and say, what is it that I'm doing well that I'm going to continue doing? And what is it that I'm not doing well that I can change? And you also get a feedback. You get a feedback from the customer. You also get a feedback from the people that are doing the work. And you're incorporating that feedback into it, and you're making that changes. And again, you do in a very short time. At the end of a very short time, you're able to get something valuable. So that's the difference between Agile and Scrum.
Okay, esteemed listeners, you've had it. I want to ask a question, Ibrahim. Are you saying Agile, is it a software? Is it, you said it's a methodology. Does it mean that like some people actually wrote down steps? And what areas are you looking at it that it covers? You said it doesn't involve our everyday life apart from workplaces. Are there particular workplaces where you can put the Agile functionality? These questions, I need to get it, and I'm sure some people do appreciate the question I'm asking. That's what a layman would ask. Is it a software? The methodology? Is it designed? Is it pre-assembled? Does it work in a specific place? Does it have to do with only production lines? You know, could you just take it from the angle for us?
So Agile is not a software. It is not a software. Like I say, it's not something you can actually feel or touch. But it's kind of a mindset. You know, mindset change. It's a behavior, right? So that when you're doing something, you apply that behavior. You know, the way where you have teams are self-organized, you have teams that are more independent. So Agile is a kind of a thing that when you do, you are able to get things done in such a way that you can get something tangible and valuable. So it's a kind of a more of a behavioral change thing. It's a mindset change thing that you do. You're able to apply that. It makes you more effective and productive.
Okay. Our esteemed listeners, I hope we're getting closer to it now. Like I am getting a picture. Now one more question before I go to the other question. Are you saying it's more of a psychological thing? Does it have to do with like you said, mindset? Okay, is it like a psychological thing? Like you have to reignite your mindset to think faster? Does it stop there, or it goes into technology, it goes into programming, it goes into some other things? You know, can you take it from that angle? I quite understand what you just explained, but what I'm not clear with is how it's been applied. Is it just strictly from a psychological perspective now?
So the way it's been applied is applying in various ways. You know, some people just think Agile is being applied to project. It's not only about project. It could be even about process change. It could be about the way we're doing things. So when it comes to the industry, you can be applied to so many kind of industry. It doesn't matter whether information technology or financial industry or education or any kind of industry. So it can be applied to any. It could be even a process change. Maybe sometimes you want to do a way of doing things, right? It could be about change management. You know, sometimes you want to do things not going on in the right way. You want to say, okay, how do we improve upon that? How do we change that to be more effective? That you can actually get something valuable from it. So, and that's how I can explain that in a nutshell.
All right, thank you so much. I get the message now, and I want to say thank you so much for taking your time to explain these stuff. And now to the next questions. I've heard about Scrum, you've told me, and told us about Agile. Now, these two stuffs I see, like Agile and Scrum, I would say first and foremost, they are abstract. Like you said, it's not actually a software per se. It's more of a reorientation of mindset towards a proactive or more productive end to a means. Now, I want to ask you, what are the Scrum and Agile planning tools? How do you, what are the planning tools? Like, how does it, how do people tend to put it to display, and that it's so contemporary now and it is needed?
So when you talk about planning tools, so we can look at so many ways, and I don't want to be too much technical, but I want to explain it in such a way that people understand. So when you look at the manufacturing, the Toyota manufacturing, which is car manufacturing, and I think everybody can actually relate to that. So when they started that, it got to a point where they were having too many waste, and in such a way that they were having too many production, they have too many cars, and you wait before you ship it. But it comes to a point where Toyota said, how do we improve upon that? How do we reduce this waste? How do we have something in the production that those people who are doing the work, they can actually cash it? And there's something called the Kanban, so which is called the Lean. So the Lean manufacturing, or the Lean side of the Agile, is a continuous improvement site that physically you can actually have something that the work package you are going to do, you break it down into smaller packages, and you put it down on the wall, and say, okay, this one is to do. This one is, if we're ready to pick what we're going to work on, we move it to, you have a backlog of items that you want to work on, which we call the user stories. And once you're ready to move, you move those to the to-do. You just pick what the team can work on. And whatever you pick on, everybody start working on it, you move to in progress. And you see in the board like that. And that's the Kanban. And once it's done, somebody called the product owner will review it. I say, yeah, I'm okay with it. This is what I want, because as the owner of the vision from the business, the person drives that. And I say, yeah, once you can meet this acceptance criteria, I will be okay with it. And once that is done, then it goes to done. So you can see, so the feasibility, the flow, when people see that, you can actually see how things are making progress. It can actually be a motivation to them that, okay, oh, this is what I'm working on, this is done. And anybody coming back and can look at the Kanban board. It's a Japanese Kanban.
Okay.
Kanban. Okay. It's a Japanese word.
Okay.
So you can see, like, it's a Kanban, it's a board where you see how the flows of work, the visibility, the view. So that's how it works, right? And you can use it for anywhere, even in the house. You can have your Kanban.
Yes, board. Exactly. I was about to pick it up from there. Like, it sounds like a normal daily routine schedule. Like when you look at it, I have to accomplish this, I have to accomplish this, and but maybe now you're talking about in detail stand, like and the work in progress, the one completed, and everything. Okay, thank you so much. Whenever you're listening to us, studio time check is 6:21 p.m. and this is our news and current affairs program from KBAC Radio, transmitting live from the city of Toronto. My name remains Akim Ogumilade, and we're discussing a topic, a very educational topic, I must say. The title is Demystifying the Agile Balance. Agile is a larger thing, it's a broader thing. I want to believe there are other things, there are other technical benefits of Agile as a contemporary phenomenon. Could you please shed light on this for us?
So I think that's something I want everybody to know about. In terms, one of the first foundation is about the Agile empirical process. So there are three things. Number one is transparent. So transparency is whatever you are doing, people can see, people can understand what you're trying to do. And so as you're doing that work, you're able to inspect, which is called the inspection. The inspection is, okay, how are we doing? What am I going to incorporate into it? And again, then you adapt it. So you get the feedback, you adapt it, and you go. And there are also some values, called the SCORM values, that like the openness. So how do you avoid, being open, right? The trust is there. Anything you do that you have a trust, right? And again, how do you have the sincerity that everybody is open, that you know what they're working on, right? So those are the things that you look at. So when you look at so many things, that again, it's about whatever you are doing, don't overdo it. Do it in a little way, right? So like individual interaction over processes and tools, which is called the Agile Manifesto, right? There is more about interaction, it's about collaboration. When you're doing work and you collaborate and you talk, you can actually get things done more instead of working in silos. When people work in silos, you don't get much to do, right? But when you share information, and information is always available for you to use, you can get your work faster, you can get it done faster. And anything we do in life, whether in the information technology, in your radio station, in anywhere, if you need the information you can process that. So those are the data to be able to make that thing work. And when you get that, it makes your work faster, right? And you get the value. Within shortest possible period of time, you can actually realize something tangible, and you can give things back to the customer, and you can test the market. You can actually say, yeah. And this can help you to increase your return on investment. It can help you to meet a high regulatory project. Maybe any project that have a deadline, you use Agile, you can actually actualize it. And when you look at Agile compared to the traditional way of doing project, it trumps that traditional way of doing project in many ways, in terms of how effective it is to actually use to manage project or improvement of processes. So there's so many ways in which you look at it that, okay, yeah, And that's why in company, every industry is rushing to adapt agile. And again, it's about the mindset. How do we change our mindset to be agile? So if we all have the agile mindset, then we can change many things we do in our life. Anything that doesn't add value to us, we will avoid it, right? Yeah, a good example, I always use this example that, you know, sometimes we rush when there's a sales. We rush and buy things and put in the house. But the question we need to ask ourselves, do we actually need that thing now in the next 1 week or 2 or 3 weeks? So if you don't need it, why are you buying it? That's not another sale anyway.
Definitely.
You see? So it's about thinking, you know, proactively, in a positive way of thinking. It's about the lean thinking to avoid that waste. And so it can also help in your spending, the way you live. So that's how the agile mindset is. So actually do more of that.
Okay, I want to pick it up from there. You just mentioned, it's not evangelism, but it's actually spreading this gospel. It's a necessity for everybody to be educated and to know more about it. And I want to ask you, what are the trademarks of an agile organization setting? For example, you go somewhere, there's really a workplace culture. They have their own workplace behavioral pattern, their ethics, their set out policies. But now agile is coming to the surface. How would you describe those characteristics, those indexes, the trademarks of an agile organization and setting?
Yeah, so when you talk about that, there are some organizations that have to set standard, you know, in terms of one of which is called the Scrum Alliance. Scrum Alliance is one of the organizations out there that help to set the standard so that people can follow that. We also have another one which is called the Scrum.org. Those are the people. In 2001, you have some set of people came together and said, let's look at the way we do things and how we can change it. And that's why they come up with the Agile Manifesto. And from there now, we've seen a lot of organizations start using that to benefit them. So every organization you go to, you have a project management office, or you have a way where the Agile people can come and help by setting up the teams, setting up standard, and even in helping to change the process and helping to change the organization mindset. So we're having to see, we're beginning to see that. So and that is still good. And again, we have community of practice. Individual can set up a community of practice to bring people together. Which one I did one, I have the Envision Agile community of practice, which myself and my co-organizer were both organized on that. And again, to bring professionals together, agile enthusiasts, people that want to know more about agile, and we use that to share knowledge. We bring speakers there, and sometimes I speak in those events. So we use that to actually help to spread the agile knowledge. People can bring their pain points, and people can bring their questions, and we use those avenues to actually do networking, and use to actually be able to help to answer those questions.
Mr. Ibrahim, at this point, I understand that. Are you saying prior to this time, prior to the advent of Agile, are you saying most workplaces don't do these things you just mentioned? We've always had workplaces with project managers, we've always had workplaces with trainings and orientations and stuff like that. So what makes an organization different now, apart from results? What makes it different when you look at it and say, oh, this is an agile organizational setting?
Okay. So when you look at organizations, organizations have values, they have culture, they have the way they do things. You can go to some company and say, yeah, this way will work. You can be hearing about some company, and when you get in there, you say, they said this company is like this, it's not like that, right? But different companies, organizations, over the years, have been using different kind of methodology to actually do project. You have been waterfall, there have been so many, right? But in terms of effectiveness, in terms of to actually use that to actually get value, you know, in a good example, I'm going to give an example. The traditional way of doing project is a way that you wait till the end before you actually realize value, and the risk is high. You know, sometimes when you get to the end, and you find out that the customer may not actually need that product you are building anymore. Or if it's failed, it's painful because you have lost a lot of money
Exactly, yeah.
But the new way is, instead of waiting till the end, we say, okay, at every shortest possible of time, say 2 weeks, 4 weeks, we can actually get something realizable and something valuable. You can use to test the market, you can use to test the customer. Then you can use to say, okay, you can help to increase your return on investment. And once you do that, you can keep going. If you want to fail, you fail quickly and you learn fast.
Okay.
You see? So in a very short way, if let's say we can do go no go, if you want to discontinue the project, you can make that decision and you can quickly realize that and say, okay, I can make go no go. So the cost of stopping it will not be too much. Unlike the old way of doing it where you have to wait till the end. Sometimes you have spent 1 year, 2 years doing a project and you find that you don't actually need it anymore.
Exactly.
Because it could be painful, a lot of loss of money and lots of waste of time.
Yeah. Something came up just now, and my attention is drawn to it, and I want to ask. Okay, for example, what about insurance? Insurance is about uncertainty at the end. Okay, if I die, or if I fall sick, or if these are anticipated future occurrences that might not come up or might never come up, I might never have an accident, and I have to go through it. And from the way you've spoken about Agile now, like it's at every point there is value for it.
Yep.
You can pull back or go forward. You don't have to wait till the end to get an end result that would be desirable or that might not be needed. We don't see the contrast here. Can Agile still be applied to such a genre of workforce talking about insurance?
Yes. So you want to dive into something. Okay, for my own, the way I'm going to explain this is, so when you look at insurance, there are some that are compulsory that you must have. A good example, the car insurance, right?
Especially the third party.
The third party, yeah. Because let's say you get into an accident, somebody hits you, that will come to play, right?
Yeah.
Right? But again, there's some, like the life insurance, for instance, right? Okay, so the life insurance is, or if something happened to me, then your family is going to get that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that one, like, people who are selling product, they're selling that product. But the onus is on the person who's buying it to really say, okay, how valuable is this to me? Is it something I really need or not? My family is going to be okay. Like, or what if I work hard now? I leave something for them.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. That's what I'm looking at. Like that should be more of the idea.
Then do I need to buy life insurance? We've also had a situation where people kill people because of life insurance. So if you don't have it with that person, the person would, okay, that's nothing, why should I take this man?
An insurance agent would like this.
But that's the truth. And you have a choice though. They will call you. A good example that some people of faith that they don't take life insurance.
Okay.
You can reject it. It's not compulsory.
Okay.
Right? And for those ones that are compulsory are your car insurance.
Exactly.
If you're a car, you don't have that, you get a fine. At least $5,000 sometimes. So instead of getting to that situation, so why don't we just have it and avoid that, that embarrassment? Exactly. From design you go to planning. From planning you execute the project. After execution of the project, you actually test it, and after testing it, you actually see if it's working and you launch it. That's what, it's like a waterfall. When you look at a waterfall, it goes like that, right?
Yeah.
So you start from design, planning, the execution, and implementation, and post-implementation, and launch. So that's a waterfall. So it's called the traditional way of doing project, right? Okay. So now in the agile way, the other terms of like velocity. So velocity is, so as a team, okay, let me start from the Scrum team. The Scrum team are the people that are doing the work. And the Scrum team comprises of the person who is building it, the Agile, the Scrum Master who is facilitating the event, all those events. You have the team that are doing the work, the developers, the business analysts, and all those people, the product owner. The product owner owns the vision and they drive the vision. So when you have, the team is called the Scrum team and they are self-organized, right? So the velocity, so when they pick the work, and when they do their planning, they say, okay, this is how much work we can do, and they commit to it, right? So let's say we give you a point. Let's say they pick 5, and those 5, they say it's 5 points. So make it 25 points. So at the end of the sprint, at the end of 2 weeks of iteration is those number of days that they do the work, like the 10 days. So at the end of that 10 days, they now complete everything, and they realize all those points. The velocity at the end of that day is 25 points. It's a way of measuring the amount of work that is completed by a team.
Okay.
So that's the velocity. And the other one, the Scrum band. So the Scrum band is a way of using two framework, the Scrum framework and the Kanban. So the Scrum framework is when you do, in the morning you come, you do something called daily stand-up, where you do a quick meeting. You do a refinement where you look ahead and see what is coming and how you get work ready. And you do a retrospective every time you check, get feedback, and that is Scrum. And you learn, you get something valuable. The Kanban is the flow of work, how the work flows. That's what it's called, the Scrum band.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. And from this things you've said, the next question is, what are the possibilities of workers being laid off with the advent of this trend called Agile?
Yes, that's possibility, right? So that's a bubble. That was a bubble in the last 2 years where everybody were going to Agile, and so it's just a way of restructuring. Some organization, it affects some people, right? Where some people called project managers, they may not have work anymore, or some people incorporated. Right?
So what's going to take the position of a project manager?
Because it has a Scrum Master. So because in an Agile team, you don't need a project manager.
Yeah, can't a project manager become
Master?
trained and becomes a Scrum Master?
Of course. So a project manager can be trained to become a Scrum Master, but the project manager must be able to have a change of mindset. Because the way a project manager thinks different from the way a Scrum Master thinks. A project manager babysit and manage people. A Scrum Master do not do that. A Scrum Master think like a team and facilitate and bring people together as a team. There's no way of babysitting people and micromanaging people.
Micromanaging people. Okay, you've added if you are a manager, a project manager, I think you need to bring up before the next thing is the management brings in a Scrum Master to take your position, okay, but I want to debate from our set of questions. What are the procedures for someone to become trained? How long does it take you to become trained to become, for example, a project manager becoming a Scrum Master? How long would you need to, is there a particular qualification at the moment? Is it just workshops and trainings alone? Could you just educate us about this necessary transition that is important?
Okay, so in terms of qualification, anybody can be a Scrum Master, right? And the step is, so the first step is you must have the basic knowledge, the basic training. So having some people, some organizations, they have 2 days workshop, right? But the one I do is 6 class 6. I do 6 class 6 of training, and I focus more on the hands-on. Like the kind of training I give, it goes beyond just 2 days workship. So most people that do 2 days workshop, you just do the 2 days workshop, you get a certification. But it goes beyond that. So you could do that, and you may still not be good at it, right? Because the implementation of Agile is what is very critical. It's not easy. Right? It's easy to just read and pass the exam, but the application of it is hard. So somebody like me, what I do is I take people beyond that. I incorporate the mentorship and the coaching part of it. So once you do your training, I bring my hands-on experience to actually train you to let you know how things are on the field, how you're going to feel it. And once you go through my classes, for instance, by the time you finish, you will show that you can actually manage. You can be a Scrum Master. You can facilitate Scrum ceremony. You can start taking up. You know what it takes to form a team, and you know what it makes to instill the Agile best practices to the team, and you know how to implement and all that stuff.
Wow. Thank you once again. I want to take this question quickly before we go on to our commercial department. I've heard about it. I've read about it. I've seen it online. The cost of trainings and workshops on Agile and Scrum are very, very expensive. Why is that so? And what role does this trend hold the future of workspace?
So when you talk about the cost, Agile is a specialized skills, right? And the money you're going to make as a Scrum Master, you're talking about the 6 figures, right? You see a Scrum Master can make up to 70,000 per annum, 80, 90, 110,000 per annum. An Agile coach can make up to 130,000 per annum. Even some Scrum Master can make up to 130,000 per annum. So you can see that. So the training, the cost varies. You know, some people will charge you 1,600, some people charge 1,700, some people charge 1,800. So it's still not much, because your first paycheck will pay for this training, right? So some people will go online and read and pass the exam, but I always tell people it's not enough, because you need, in classroom, you need somebody who has been in that field to share the experience. Because there's some example the person is going to give you that when you do the training online by yourself, you won't get that. If you read and just write the exam, it's not about writing the exam, it's not about paper. It goes just with having the paper qualification. You actually need to start from the basic agile training, have one-on-one, and get a mentor and get a coach that you can always refer to, that can always guide you and put you through.
Yeah.
Agile coach, okay. So maybe if you're talking about a role of a Scrum Master and an Agile coach, or maybe a product owner. So in a team you have the Scrum Master, who is a facilitator, who is a servant leader, who help to facilitate different meetings,
okay,
and also help to teach the team of Agile best practices to ensure that and guide them and support them. The Scrum Master also helps to remove impediment. So if there's any problem on their way, and that's a lot of a servant leader. So a servant leader gets things out of the way of the workers and allow them to be able to get that job done. They create an environment, an enabling environment where they can actually do their work without any hitches, right? But another role is the Agile coach. So you want to start a team. So Agile coach will come in and help guide them to set up that team properly. The structure of the team, the kind of methodology to use, he will give an advice. But when you talk about the product owner within the team, so the product owner owns what the team is working on, owns the vision.
Okay, like the chief executive officer?
No, but they represent the business. They are the representative of the sponsor of the project within the team.
Okay.
So they are the mouth of the business. So, and they make decisions right there. They can actually make decisions for the business. So that's the work of a product owner.
Okay, and now I realize why for example, the Kanban is a Japanese word, right?
Yeah.
This one too, like the sashimi you just explained to us. Why are some of the terms in Agile? Why are they related to Japanese? Was it actually founded by Japanese people?
Yes. So because the Kanban, you know, like that's why I mentioned the Toyota manufacturing. It came from the Toyota manufacturing.
Okay.
Those people that have done Lean Six Sigma, they will understand what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So the Lean Six Sigma that's where the continuous improvement is about quality control, right? The quality assurance, not even quality control. When you have quality assurance, you want to prevent something from happening, right? And you can improve upon it. So the Kanban was a Japanese word. They started it a long time ago.
Okay.
From the Toyota manufacturing, and people buy into that sometimes, and that's why people borrow methodology and use to make their process better. So it originated from Japanese.
Yeah. I really wish we had time. I still have other questions I want to ask, but unfortunately, because of the time and some other programs, some other sponsored programs that are lined up, we won't be able to go further than this. But on the last note, as a forerunner in this Agile crusade, what is your final message to your listeners?
So I want to say that thank you for bringing me here, and also for those of you that are listening to me, you know, Agile is a way that can help everybody. So you have listened to me. If you need any more information, you can reach out to me, and that way you can get more about it. But I just give you a tonic, something it takes that you make you hungry.
Okay.
That I want you to know more about it. So.
Yeah. Would you just give your phone number or your email address?
Yes, please feel free. If anybody needs my phone number or email, you can give it to them, and we can talk.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. This is all for our time will permit us to go on this edition of JTA Spotlight. I want to say thank you to the entire team of Kabir Radio, Don Tonal Ademola. We say thank you so much, and we